see if you guys can hear me or not. Hold on a second. So if you guys can hear me, type in the futures Scott Pulcini room in the Discord, please. Alrighty, I don't have anyone helping me here. Bruce, help me.
According to Saudi Arabia's minister, wants to continue non-oil economy growth. ECB's Lagarde says if baseline is to persist when the uncertainty reduces, we'll have a lot more ground to cover. Says this is a big caveat. Again, ECB's Lagarde says if the baseline is to persist when the uncertainty reduces, we'll have a lot more ground to cover.
Alright, so you guys can hear me. Hold on one second here. I'm going to short this. Maybe taking it short here and wrestle, and we'll go over it in a second. ATR's 5.55. 2, I can put on 7. And of course, I just missed it. Alright, so actually, let's do this disclaimers here real quick. I just don't know if this is streaming on YouTube or not. I'm not getting any help today from the
ECB's Lagarde says uncertainty is completely elevated.
If you guys can see it on YouTube, I posted that link from last week, but it's not the universal link, so I don't know what that link is. They haven't responded for me to post it. I'll be back in a minute and a half.
Risk disclosure statement. There is a risk of loss in trading stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, derivatives, options, forex, and cryptocurrencies. This risk can be substantial, and therefore investors should carefully consider their financial suitability prior to trading. Past performance is not indicative of future performance. The software, strategies, chat rooms, websites, and any associated websites or digital venues are for educational purposes only and should not be construed as an express or implied promise or guarantee that you will profit or that losses may be limited in any manner whatsoever. Users of the information accept full responsibility for the outcomes of their deployment and host Apple Senate Trader, LLC, and any associated companies, agents, management, owners, and customers harmless without reservation. Please trade responsibly. Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, Rule 4.41, hypothetical and simulated trading performance results have certain inherent limitations, some of which are described herein. No representation is being made that any account below is likely to achieve profits or losses similar to those shown. In fact, there are frequently sharp differences between hypothetical or simulated performance results and the actual results subsequently achieved by any particular trading program. One of the limitations of hypothetical performance results is that they are generally prepared with the benefit of hindsight. In addition, hypothetical trading does not involve financial risk, and no hypothetical trading record can completely account for the impact of financial risk in actual trading. For example, the ability to withstand losses or adhere to a particular trading program in spite of trading losses are material points which can also adversely affect actual trading results. Because these trades have not actually been executed, the hypothetical results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. There are numerous other factors related to the markets in general or to the implementation of any specific trading program which cannot be fully accounted for in simulated trading or in the preparation of hypothetical performance results and all of which can adversely affect actual trading results.
This trade room and its webinars are not intended to mirror my trades or to give specific trade recommendations. The analysis and setups I share are trades and potential trades that I am taking for myself based on my personal
the banking
analysis.
sector is currently in a much stronger position than in
specific areas to
2008.
trade with an edge for themselves, but ultimately the decision is yours. Trading is extremely risky, and if you do decide to follow my personal trades, you do so at your own risk and could potentially lose your entire account and even more. I'm not always profitable and have routine drawdowns on my trading accounts. The spreadsheet you have access to is my personal spreadsheet that I use to enter zone values and ATR values that help me pinpoint exact prices for my trades. You can see when I enter zone prices into the master spreadsheet as well as the prices to enter trades, whether you want to go long or short. You have the ability to copy this spreadsheet and enter in your own values and use mine to confirm zone prices until you're able to draw the zones correctly yourself. The spreadsheet is not telling you which direction to trade, as it has entry prices and stop prices for both long and short positions, depending on which way you personally
we can exercise creativity in the short order if there is a liquidity crisis, but this is not what we are seeing.
All right. We got that out of the way. Sorry, that was supposed to be sped up. I don't know why that didn't play faster, but sorry for the torture there. All right, there's really nothing going on. There's been only a few volume setups, and the volume setups are obviously the driver of my trading because it's real-time volume and it's what moves the markets. as I talk about every time. Get my drawer going here. This mouse is not working correctly, so I'm probably going to lose it. All right, so anyway, quite a bit of bias. What is wrong with this mouse? Yikes. Big time delay in this mouse. Anyway, so we have multiple strategies we're working in the room. One of the main strategies, it's the most active strategy, is, and I'm showing my room and you guys on these webinars that these volume events are an edge by themselves without any other external factors, right? So this trade I just took, there was nothing in particular besides that it showed as a bearish setup, meaning it was. So my criteria to make this a bearish setup is if the market moves.
Committed to fighting inflation.
If the market moves an ATR out of the volume event, that is considered a bearish event. Excuse me. If it retests, fails, then I go short. So this is called the BARF setup. We've got some funny
just keep in mind, U.S. Treasury Secretary Yellen's testimony has not started just yet. So again, the live video for this is on the feed. It was meant to start about 10 minutes ago.
Again, I'm showing that these volume events in a vacuum are an edge, and then if you can apply them in important areas, which we'll go over, they're even better edge. So anyway, I just got short. You can see the prices here. So the way we do this is we put this is all part of my trade room. If you join my trade room, you get access to the spreadsheet, and this spreadsheet is an absolute godsend. It saves me so much time and accuracy and so on and so forth. So put the zone prices in here.
So some more colour here coming from a source that's close to France's PM Born. Says the government bypassing a pension vote because a reform is necessary. So again, we did just see a headline about this earlier, as France's President Macron's government is set to force through a pension reform.
While there's ATR on the 5-minute chart, it's actually up to 58 now. So all that's telling you is these markets are rotating. Basically, this market's rotating about 58.
Nice iceberg buys ES 214 contracts.
Very important. I don't need to put this in now because I already got filled on my trade. But you want to, if you're using the spreadsheet, you want to keep adjusting this until you get filled. And once I get filled, it's done. I just leave it the way it is. So I was short at 1740.2. My stop goes at 1756.3. So this is already about 40 ticks in my favor. Let me get my other favorite thing, Mr. Tick Strike. Again, everything I show, there's all discounts on my website. Everything I show that I trade with, you can go to my website homepage. There's banners on the right side.
says 3 or 4 didn't support the decision.
So anyway,
that's ECB's Lagarde saying 3 or 4 ECB members didn't support the decision.
Even though it drives me absolutely crazy because, again, when you have a losing position on, you get to watch it and hear it, and it's absolute torture treatment.
ECB's Lagarde says the dissenters wanted more time.
Go over some of these markets. I don't know what's wrong with this mouse, but I honestly, I'm probably going to break it. It's that bad. Like, it's really, really bad. I don't know if it's the stuff that I got running for this webinar, but it's not usually this bad. All right, so anyway, Russell, bigger picture. We're in this important zone, so it wouldn't surprise me to see this continue to hold. But, again, the BARF trade is just a blind. I don't care where we're at. I'm just taking that trade blindly. This has hung in this zone for a while. Obviously, it's not as important. We talk about, the best, we call these IZZY trade, inflection zone trade. The best trades into the IZZY, and those are usually fade trades, are direct moves.
So it does appear that the live video we provided earlier for Treasury Secretary testimony just didn't start from the streamer's end. However, we have provided a new one on the feed now for those interested.
Crew got absolutely smoked yesterday, and it closed here, gap through this zone, or ripped through this zone. You can see it retested exactly, and then a selling tail. That's bearish as well. Then it came right into the zone.
Reiterating, the ECB decision was supported by a very large majority there.
There was a stop run into this zone. We took it aggressively out of there and caught a very nice move. I think it was like a 200 tick winner, pretty quick. So those are the best IZZYs. You can see this is a little different scenario where you're just hanging out in this zone. So, I took a short, and those are, these zones are fade trades, but we're just sitting in here. So I'm not going to take an IZZY. If I get a long setup, I'll take an IZZY, but right now I just want to see how it reacts to this stone. It wouldn't surprise me if this bounces again, and here comes the torture, by the way. So again, there's nothing really going on. There has not been one setup in ES, one setup in NQ. You do want to note, though, this is what you should be doing if you have Bookmap, and if you don't have Bookmap, you are way behind and you're not getting all the information. But you want to pull your chart up and try to find all the liquidity, because that's where these markets are headed, right? So some days it's real clear cut. You can see the liquidity. Well, this is not acceptable, this mouse. I'm going to break it. I'm sorry. You'll see it all in one
ECB's regards
area,
says I
and then you
stand
see
ready
like a
to
black
provide
hole
new
below, and then some
facilities
days
if
it's
needed.
just all over the place. So this looks more like a range day. This isn't crazy, but there's some down here and there's some up here. Wouldn't surprise me to see this tag this and then head back down here. So again, nothing's fired off in here per se, but first and foremost, you want to be looking at your liquidity. So for instance, like
Crude stocks LCL, 253 contracts.
right on cue here. So this is heading, so you can see here, that, guys, this is the game, right? This is why this is so important to have this information. So you can see there's some above too. This would not surprise me to see me tag all this stuff. Get these guys their fills, right? Fill, and then turn around and rip back up to that liquidity above. So anyway, we just got a new setup. Second setup of the day, actually. Actually, there was one in here earlier in crude. I didn't take it, but I will possibly take this one. We'll draw the zone, put the zone prices in, and then see if we can possibly take this trade. So 66.17 to 66.10 is the zone. That was the stop.
ECB's regards just reiterating we do have extensive facilities to react to stress if needed.
Which is well over threshold. Threshold for this market is 150, meaning I only trade setups, volume setups, spikes that are 150 or more. Anything less than that I don't pay attention to, because it's just not trade worthy, and that's just from experience of watching about 4.2 million of these setups over the last 4 years. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I've seen quite a few, so I know how these markets react to these volume
ECB's de Guindos now says
so
banks are resilient, capital is higher than earlier, liquidity position of banks is robust. Again, it's coming from ECB's de Guindos.
The zone price, 66.10. You guys in my trade room, if you have the link to YouTube, put that in. Put it in my trade room so I can get on the YouTube so I can see questions on there. Because
And ECB's de Guindos says liquidity buffers are high quality.
Some questions. Current ATR is 0.325. So here's another reason I'm using Tick Strike. Like if I already know something's going on here, but if I'm not watching and an SI event doesn't come off, I can hear this thing firing off, so I know something's going on in crude, right? So this is just a meter. It shows you the intensity of the selling. It's an algo that combines the speed of the selling and the size. 1 to 15.
Copper Ice Iceberg by HG, 154 contracts.
Selling right now is at a negative 13, so that's pretty heavy. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. Let me get on this webinar. So I can see your comments now, guys, in the YouTube if you have questions going forward. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate that. Let me get on this webinar. So I can see your comments now, guys, in the YouTube if you have questions. They're hammering this. This looks like an official bearish setup. The way I judge that is if we can get an ATR, push an ATR. They're hammering this. This looks like an official bearish setup. Price. The way I judge that is if we can get an ATR, push an ATR. They're hammering this. This looks like an official bearish setup. All right, so that is an official ATR right there, right? 65.78. So now, if anything else, I could take this a barf trade. A barf trade is just the volume event. An ATR or retest a failure. Let's see what else we got brewing here. Let's look at the bigger picture stuff. Get this out of the way. So I use Ludwig levels, as you guys all know. That's the second strongest thing I've ever seen in futures trading. And market profile. There's nothing really here. This was just a single day yesterday. I don't really trade the value areas of single days. I'll watch how the market reacts, and you can see the market did come up to the point of control and ripped out of there. It's important, but what's most important are these composites. When you combine days that overlap and then you make a value area on those days that overlap, those are very, very powerful. And that's what I
So looking to the
mainly
fear
trade
and
off of. So I
greed
don't trade
indices
off the
here.
value
So the
areas,
fear
like
and
I
greed
said, a
index
single
at
day, so I
21 out
keep
of
an eye on
100 indicates
just to get
extreme fear.
you want a
The
context
crypto
for the
fear
day
and greed
too. So
index 52 out of
every
100. That's
morning when you're looking
indicating
at your
neutral.
markets, you come up with a bigger picture scenario on your bar charts, on the structure stuff, and then on the market profile stuff. Yeah, they're one and the same, but they display things differently. You can get different insight, from each one. So here we are again. This is the exact dizzy zone that I took along yesterday. But the difference today is this was not there's no bullish setup in here yet. There's actually a bearish setup. So there's no Izzy trade for me right now. I'm just looking to short it, and I will short it on the BARF, but the Izzy trade is a fade trade, right? And we're back in the zone. There was no bullish setup, so I'm not fading this move per se. And the other thing with these zones, so I draw these zones every day. They're in my trade room as well. You get access to these. I always show this in here. Go over here.
Senate Banking Chair Browns expects
So
the
these are
first
all the-
oversight hearing
I
on
just post
recent
these every
US
day
banks
now where you can
collapses
get in
by
here, get
April.
the blow up
Again,
the
Senate
thing, and then
Banking
put all these zones on
Chair
your own
Brown
charts if you want
says,
them.
I expect the
Eventually
first
gonna get a
oversight hearing
subscription
on
to these. I just
recent
haven't
US
got around
bank
to it for
collapses
people who are
by
not part of the
April.
trade room, but these are very, very, very important and powerful zones, right? Kind of like the Ludwig levels, so on and so forth. So the whole idea is these by themselves are powerful, but if you get volume events, real-time volume events, which drives the market, those make those zones even more powerful, right? So, so the other thing, we take trades in here, and then what else you can glean from these zones is how they react. So if this market melts right through the zone, it's telling you something, especially after it bounced off of here yesterday. So the zone's still relevant, and that tells me we're probably coming down to there today. And then you can see bigger picture crude, right? This is the stuff that you want to know in your head when you start taking trades. Like this market, it had a multi-week balance, right? Two-sided trade. Bigger, longer-term traders, shorter-term traders, placing bets. Well, the longer-term traders that were long, they're not feeling so hot right now, right? So this is the start of the puke. Does it go straight down for balance? Most of the time, absolutely not. It comes usually, especially crude, we'll do one of these. Juke moves, come back to the bottom of balance. So it's a little higher.
ECB's Lagarde says, I'm not
Then
seeing
go
an improvement of
or the high
underlying
volume node, and
inflation.
this zone's actually right at the high volume node. High volume node is just where the most trade occurred in the balance.
That brings
area.
us now 10 minutes away
So,
to the bottom of the hour, where we do get the
very
EIA
rarely
natural
markets
gas
just
change.
keep
Forecast
going.
minus
They'll do,
61
especially this
BCF
market,
on the
they'll
prior,
do one
minus
of those. So
84 BCF.
I do not have a strong opinion here. I mean, again, I'll potentially go short off of that setup, but over here, I would say, and I did say this in the room, watch out below. But now we've moved far enough away from this that I'm not, this is the puke out of this zone. It could go a little further, but I have no opinion. This thing could come all the way back now, right? So, or it could keep going. And you never say, oh, this is enough. This can't keep going, right? We talk about that scenario all the time in natural gas. This is like last
ECB's
week, I
Lagarde
think, or the
says
week
seeing some
before.
slight improvement
Like
on
this one
core,
right here.
but not much.
How many people were trading this thing overnight?
This is in
the
reference
gap
to
closed
underlying
here,
inflation.
all the way down to here. Like, how many people said this entire way down? Oh, this can't keep going. This can't keep going, right? And now we're all the way down here. So never assume markets can't keep doing what they're doing. You just have to accept what they're doing and trade off of that. So as far as the Ludwig levels, you can see here, again, these are, the name of the website is Ludwig Levels, LUDWIG levels.com. Go on there. She's got a free 3-day trial. If you sign up for that, say you sign up on the Bookmap webinar, you get special pricing. But these are what I use. So there's multiple uses for these. The main use is to use these as support and resistance lines, right? So
Russell June Ice Iceberg Sell RT 151
I'll
contracts.
come back to this in a second. But you can all support and resistance. So I'll show you about 85 instances in this webinar where the markets have bounced off the blue or the red lug. But when they do bust through, that's giving you information too. So for instance, this market broke through the blue, built new lugs, and then held yellow. And it gets back below yellow, it signals that it's probably
Beanstalk stock sells ES 235 contracts.
Right, there's some stuff firing off here, so we'll talk about these throughout the webinar. So I'm waiting for a retest of the zone. I'll short that for the bar setup. That's about all that's firing off. Hold on here. What are these guys saying to me?
ECB's Lagarde says we're beginning to see the transmission of policy through the credit channels.
This guy's sending me direct messages. Sorry. All right, so I'm short Russell, and this is how I trade.
Soy oil ice iceberg buys EL 153 contracts.
Hold on a second. So Enoch, you're sending me private messages. Please wait till I'm done with the webinar. If you're on this webinar, all right, I don't have time to look at your stuff, and it's distracting me. All right, so this is a new setup. This was 163 sell ice. So I'm going to draw the zone, hopefully quickly, before this thing rips in my face, and I can trail my short to this current setup. All right, so the way I do this is I take the bubbles off. I use the last price line. Right-click your chart, configure visible components, and then last price. That'll give you this white line. Yes, it's noisy. It makes the chart noisy, but it's essential so you get your zones right. You don't want to draw them out the bubbles like I did for about 3.5 years because they're not as accurate as they can be. And you guys have all seen my webinars. I get stopped out to the tick
Easy
about 8
Beast
times a
says
day.
I've not yet
Or I used to,
not
but
yet
it's
had
better
to
now because
decide
now I'm
whether
drawing these zones
TPI
better,
is
but
needed,
it
but could
matters,
be
so
the
make sure
case
you
at
get
some
these
point.
zones accurate. So this was the sell ice, right? Hopefully Mr. Russell
There's
will
the
wait
guy
for me
there
to get
saying
all my
didn't
zones
decide
in here
anything on
before it rips out
APP
of here.
roll-off.
So this zone is now 1733.3 is the top of the zone. I'm going to come over to the handy dandy spreadsheet here. Get this off here. And then the bottom of the zone is 1729.8. Actually went a little lower than that. Hold on. Remember I just got done saying make sure this is accurate. You see this went a little lower. Excuse me. Alright. So that's 1729.8. That's your zone. Now what I will do with this short that I'm in. Make sure your ATR is correct. ATR is up to 56.2, 5.62. That's how it lists on here. So that's what I put it. It just means 56 ticks. You can see that's how it's listed on Thinkorswim. Again, that's a 5-minute ATR, 14-period Wilders. You can put it on basically any software, charting software, as far as I know.
NQ Juni Ice Iceberg Sell NQ. 151 contracts.
And the release of the EIA
so we
natural
get
gas
the natural
change
gas number
forecast
come out, so
minus
just fire
61
off an
BCF
NQ.
on the
All
prior
right, so
minus
now,
84
because I'm
BCF.
short, so remember my original stop was, hold on Russell, don't be getting crazy on me. So my original stop off of this setup when I went short was ATR above here. Now there's a new event. Now I can trail it all the way down to here. And I'm not trailing because I don't want to get back my profit. I'm trailing because of something that happened in the market. I tell you guys every week, the market does not care about you giving back your profit. The market cares about volume events and volatility. So it behooves you to be trading and moving your stops based on that versus what you want to risk. The percentage of traders that move their orders to break even once they have something in their favor is just mind-boggling. And it's, what do you think you don't think these algos are designed to know that traders do that? What do you think these whipsaws are why they're occurring? Because they know traders trail their stops, and then when these algos know that there's nothing going on, then they start playing games. So like on a down move, they know, they can see if they know if anything, they see what we see, then they start playing their games, and they'll whip it back up, stop everyone out, and then it'll go. How many people go through that every day? Stop trailing your stops to break even. All right, so this is, I can get out at 98. So this is literally going to be a scratch trade for me if this comes back to 98. I got in at 94. I'm out at 98. 1729.8. No, 1739.8. Sorry. That would not be a scratch trade. That would be a little smaller loser. Very, very small. Let me move that up there. All right. So now I've just obviously cut my risk huge. Right? So if this does come back, my stops right here, which would be an ATR plus 15%. Then I'm out. I take a small loss. If it holds, then I could potentially short this as well on the same barf setup. But I'm trailing my stop to an actual volume event in the market. And here we go with the waterboarding. So this is, guys, these last 3 days since this, the SVB and all this other, now banks are just falling one by one. That's why I just laugh when these markets rally on like half good news. Like if they think this is like a vacuum, it's only a couple banks. It's just mind-boggling. But it is what it is. You can't fight the markets. Like yesterday, the thing just rips. They came out with Credit Suisse bad news, and then they said it was good news, and then market rips. Like it doesn't matter what your opinion is. You've got to adapt to the market. You can laugh at it like I do and say how ridiculous it is, but you can't just fade it because you think something should be going on. You've got to be like, okay, well, I guess this is not ready to die yet. It's gonna die. It's just a matter of how long this is gonna take, right? Like it's gonna
The
play these
CME
games.
group says there was a
We talk about
2-minute
this
pause in
every
trading
day.
for certain
Every time this
SOFA
thing does a
and
rally for
Fed
the last
fund
6
products
months, it
yesterday.
gets whack-a-mole.
Again,
So
some
if you
commentary
were
from the
old
CME
enough to
group who
remember the
said there was a
whack-a-mole game,
2-minute pause in
where the
trading
thing
for
pops its
certain
head up and you
SOFA
slam
and
it down with
Fed
that big
fund
plunger
products
thing.
yesterday.
Every time it rallies, it gets hammered. So, and I keep saying too, you want to short these markets. I want to short these markets every time I get a chance because I think they should be at zero. The best times to short them are on these moves versus trying to catch, trying to grab it while it's falling, because you always get these moves. This one was the Bullard or whatever Fed dude dropped the tape bomb in here, and then of course what's his name, Powell comes out and then has negative news, and this was all by design in my opinion, right? They it's all coordinated, right? So it's like the Fed guys come out, oh yeah, and they say something dovish, and the thing rips.
There's 1 minute remaining
when
for the
the
EIA
big guy
natural
finally
gas
comes out and says
storage
the negative
change.
thing. Well, then the impact is a lot less versus if this market was just hanging here and Powell would have came out, then we'd be down here, right? So it's just all one big game, guys. You just gotta understand that it's all 100% manipulation in these markets. The big money runs the show, but if you can't beat them, join them. We can see what they're doing, right? This is why this information is available. The CME wants to keep the retail trader alive, in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. I'm not going to get into that, but we see what's going on in here. So this is the information. So you can see what the big money is trying to do. You can see what the big money is trying to do with the liquidity, so on and so forth. It's none in here, but if you can't beat them, join them. So, all right. So there was something here in Mr. Nasdaq. Oh, we got a shocking retest of the zone in crude. This never happens except for 85 times a day in all these markets. So we just said, I just said I would go short this market on that's the ATR.
Minus 58 BCF, minus 58 BCF. That's a draw on the forecast of minus 61 BCF.
Just a blind ATR retest. I don't care where we're at. I take that trade. So quickly, let's do this and then jump over to NASDAQ. Where is my... All right. All right, so that zone's already in there. I want to make sure this is accurate. It's still 32. It's 32.9. So now when this comes back, I can short it at 65.72, and I can put on 6 micros based on. So I'm trading Apex accounts. We'll go over Apex a little later for each of these strategies to show the winning percentages, so on and so forth. It's more focused and centralized. And then, so I just actually qualified for one of them. This is E-Trade qualified, so that's live now. But these will all be live eventually because there's an edge in all these. That's why I trade them. I've been doing all these in my head for years, and now we have specific, and we have the, actually, let's get this up here just so we have it a little later. I haven't updated it the last few days, but every month we're going to go over, all these different strategies. So they're all in here. Right?
We
So
posted
like
the
these,
EIA weekly natural gas storage
qualified,
reports on the feed for those
I
interested.
think it was, what was it? Before 39. Sorry. Yeah. So this one did blow out the one practice account, or not practice, the one qualifying account. It blew out, and then I reset it, and then it qualified. But this was that day. This was actually a Bookmap webinar I got. I was short, and I loaded up double size. That was the Bullard tape bomb that screwed me there. So I had a strong conviction when I got my volume set up. So this is what I talk about all the time. Like, if I don't have a strong feeling about something. So let me back up. So we're day traders. I'm a day trader. I'm trading both ways. Even if I think these markets are going to get smushed, like I do, I still will take longs, right?
Soy meal ice iceberg by ZM.
But in the
158
days
contracts.
you get, the volume setups in the favor of your trade, and that this was the day. This was that go back and watch
US
that
natural
Bookmap
gas
webinar. It
futures
was right
pair
here.
their gains up
It
on
was
spot
below
2%
all
following
this.
the
It was breaking
EIA
down.
report
I
of
love
smaller
the
than
short.
expected
We had
storage
short
for
set
natural
up.
gas.
I put on double or triple
And to
size. I
Saudi
had like
state
3 or 4
media as well,
strategies
Saudi
on,
Arabia
and
and
then
Russia
the
affirmed their
tape came
commitment to
out, and it
OPEC
did
Plus
that.
production cut decision.
This is why you have stops, and this is part of trading, right? That's why it's a probability game.
US Treasury Secretary Yellen says Biden's willing to negotiate over deficit reduction, but not as a condition for raising the debt ceiling.
So anyway, we'll get into all this eventually here. So back to this. So I will short crude at 65.72, and I could put on 6. Let me put that in here. This again is the barf. That's number 4. What did I say? 65.72. Is that not working? All right, so that's locked and loaded. So if this market gets above this zone, and the prices are all in here, if this, so the invalidation for this short is, where's it at? Right here, 66.50. So if this market is able to push up to 66.50, then the short idea is done, right? Because that's how I judge these zones. Because you have these algos that play the ATRs back, and if it's able to push outside the ATR, then something bigger is going on, and then I want to go long, or so on and so forth. Not for this particular setup, because it's already shown its hand short. But if this does this and gets up to here, then I'm going to cancel that short trade. But for now, I'm playing the barf trade, blind, ATR retest failure, short, and actually I could put on the liquidity trade too. No, I can't. I take that back. It's too close. So actually, well, no, I can. So you see down here too. So you don't want to take the liquidity trade. If I put this trade on, I'm risking an ATR above here, right? Well, if liquidity is right where I put it on, well, that's not a good risk reward because I'm getting out of the lick trade. It's called lick at the liquidity, but there is liquidity down here, so I will put that trade on as well. So that's another strategy. So when I tell my room every day, you're probably not going to be able to take all these strategies right away. You probably don't want to. Just focus on a couple. Like the strongest ones that I know over the long run are going to be the slug, stop run at the lugs, lick. So this is the lick that I'll take, right? So this is number 43. That's just taking trades in the direction of liquidity, and you're basically getting out at the liquidity. No questions asked, unless it just rips through there into the next one. But so I'll take this lick trade too. It's the same thing. So lick trade is this is not ATR retest fail for that. So that's number 43. So I have to see. So some of these strategies I get in, so I don't miss it. Like for instance, that what I was showing you guys yesterday. Let me just put this in real quick, and I'll show you quickly an aggressive entry. 43. So 43 is the lick. I will put that on as well. There we go. So yesterday there was the stop run into this zone here. Let me see. I think I posted it in the room too. Let me see if I can find it, just so you can see what it looked like.
US Treasury Secretary Yellen says there will be a careful look at what happened with SVB.
Oh wait, I forgot about the Nasdaq setup. Let's see. There's a lot of chirping in my room the last couple of days. I like it. I like when people are participating for once. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to scroll on through this here, trying to find the. I guess it was after that because it was into this zone. Could have swore I put it in here. Where you at? That was natural gas. That was no, it was before here. Hold on. It's worth it because then you guys.
Wheat Ice Iceberg by ZW. 163 contracts.
What I saw yesterday. This was the slug off NG. Caught that move yesterday too. See, it was off of it. There was a stop run on that. This was a Izzy and a slug actually. Here we go. So this is it right here, right? So this was the chart. This was a straight move into this important inflection zone. Izzy. That's the name of the trade. Then, did I just take it because of that? No, I need to see a volume event. Did I get a volume event? Sure did. Right here. Right? So you had a stop run into the volume. I took it. This was aggressive. I took it the
ECB's
minute this
Lagarde's
broke out of here in
monetary
ATR
policy
plus
seems to
50%.
have
I didn't wait
transmitted
for
rather
this like I'm waiting
rapidly.
for these trades on the bar, right? Because you risk it just taking off, and this is exactly what this trade did. It never came back to the zone, and it moved about 200 plus ticks straight up, right? So that's what I'm talking about. Some of these are aggressive entries. Some of them are conservative ATR retest failure entries. All right, so again, if this gets up to 50, then I'm canceling those shorts, potential shorts. So we'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully NASDAQ waited for me. It did. Very nice, Mr. NASDAQ. See, the sell ice came in. The only setup in either NASDAQ or ES today. I think I stepped out of Russell. Why did I not get an alert? No, I'm still short. How is that possible? I thought I put that in. Hold on. 1733.8. Did it not? No, that's not right. Hold on a second. What am I doing here?
US Treasury Secretary Yellen says a proposal on global tax
What am I
agreements
doing
do
here?
not violate any US tax treaties.
1739.8. So that's right. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second, guys. Sorry. All right, sorry about that. My daughter's cats are into something in the room behind me, and it's a lot of banging. All right, so what? I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong here. Stop was at 1739.8. So what did I have?
The German financial regulator BaFin says looking closely at market developments and the German financial
Now I got the
system
zone.
is stable and
So,
robust.
again, this is coming all the way back to the zone, and this is what I was saying earlier. The last few days, these markets have been an absolute chop fest, like just ridiculous. But why am I? What is going on here? Am I in the wrong? Oh, that's why. So that I was like literally losing my mind here. I should already be out of this trade. Hold on a second. All right, I got out because I had no, and then I just sold double. What am I doing? Hold on. All right. So my March here. Let me show you this one. So this is. I was looking at March because I know I saved this. I don't know why I didn't save. So I cost myself a little bit. I should have been out a long time ago. I was wondering, like, well, how? There's no way that would have. I should be getting out that far away. So you can see I was on March here. Where's that showing at? Right there. I know this saved before. Hold on, let me just change this. Of course, cost me money. It never makes me money when I make mistakes like that, ever. There we go. Now that makes sense. I was like, what am I looking at? So I should have been out at 1739.8.
NQ Tune stocks by NQ 151 contracts.
Alright, here's the
ES
old-
Tune
this looks
stocks
like
by
a tape
ES
bomb hitting the market.
725
Surprise.
contracts.
All right, so that was there was a prior event. Didn't matter. Didn't ever retest it. But shockingly, look where this is headed. Hey, it's almost like it's by design. Up to the liquidity. So here's a new setup. 210 stops. We'll trade off of that. I got to get my bearings back after I just literally thought I was losing my mind with the prices. I was on the wrong month. Well, you know, I've only been trading for 25 years, so I could see why I would make that mistake. All right. It's no fun without Bruce, and I have no one laughing at my jokes. So it's just like I talking to myself like I do all day long anyway. It's not very fun. All right. Like I tell you guys, I have to talk nonstop, even to myself, or my head will pop off. That's how I like get out my emotions. And I told you guys, I think it was last
The
week.
Nasdaq turns positive, up
Do
spot
not
2% on the
trade.
session.
You know, trying to suppress your emotions. Have the emotions, don't let it affect your trading, but
And
get it out,
ECB's Lagarde
right? Like,
concludes
you read
the
any
ECB press
real
conference.
trading psychology book, and it tells you you do not want to act like things aren't bothering you. You can act like it bothers you, but you don't want it to affect your actual, trading mechanics and what you're doing, right? All right, so this is the most recent stop run. Let's see what we got. See if we got any setups here so I can short this piglet. I mean, it does look bullish. We'll look at the structure here. And I do my best not to let my bias get in my way. Most days I can do it, but I still think these things are going to kill. So you can see here, this is heading up close to the, there's a bunch of stuff going on here, right? These are the best trades out there. You've got market profile composite high. You've got extreme standard deviation of VWAP. This is one standard deviation, which is called daily valuary, 1.5, 2. That'll be almost at 2.5, past 2.5 if it gets to the red lug. And then you got baby lug here too. It's a minor lug. So you got a lot of stuff. It's not there yet. I mean, it is here, but it's real close to one of these. Let's look at the bigger picture. So this is what, and we're close to an inflection zone in Izzy, right? So this is what I mean. Like, this does not look bearish. First of all, Nasdaq has been extremely strong compared to the other markets, other equity futures markets, the last however many weeks. That is a balanced breakout. Then it retested what? The high, like it usually does, after screws all the guys that try to take the initial breakout, and now it's taken off. So now what you're getting, all the guys that are loaded up here and here are now starting their pukes, and that's why you're hearing stop runs, right? So is this zone the best zone to trade? It's not horrible. You're not right in front of this puke, but you still got some balance here. It's not the best place. I'll still take a short if it gets in there aggressively, but you don't want to make it a rule of thumb of playing fade trades on the breakout of balance. You will not, your percentages will not be good. Doesn't mean it can't have a failed breakout, right? But this is not where you take that chance. Where you take the chance is once it gets through that high volume node. And then the shorts below here, that's where you take your shot. I'll still take it. This is an important zone. You can see all the stuff that happened here. He had a gap down, came back, held. Here, it's about to get here again. I'll take the same trade again. But that's not as great. You can see, look at the difference. What's the difference between this scenario, if it gets up here, versus this scenario? This was Mr. Bullard, or it was one of the other bees, the other bozos, who said something this day. This is a straight move.
The from the ECB's forecast assume 2023 oil price of $82.60 a barrel, 24 oil price of $77.80 a barrel, and 2025 oil price of $73.90 a barrel.
These are two different scenarios.
ECB forecast assumes an exchange rate of $1.08 in 2023-2025. So $1.08 exchange rate is from the ECB forecast in the year of 2023 to 25.
Keep that in mind. If I do take a short here, it's not the best place to be shorting, but there's enough going on a little higher. I'm okay with taking that short. We just went over all this. So that's called confluence, and I'm waiting like a sniper, waiting to blow someone's head off. Pardon my language, ladies, but this is a competition. If you guys don't think you're competing against people and that are trying to take your money, you're crazy. I mean, how would you feel if you walked out the door and someone came up and tried to take your wallet? Would you just hand it to them, or would you punch them in the face? Right? Same thing here. That's how I view it. You have to view this as a competition. Don't let people take your money. Don't let algos take your money. All right. So what was I doing here? I wanted to see if there's any other. So the other thing you guys got to get up. I don't have it up, of course, because you hear things but you don't hear them, right? Like, this just drives me crazy.
NQ June stop by NQ 154 contracts.
Here's another stop run. This is exactly what we were just talking about. So all that balance is now puking them
Just
all
noting S&P
up.
500 in the green
So
now,
now
up
this-
0.1% on the session.
this-
So paired all of
now we're
those
talking.
losses there. Extending gains
Here we
up
are.
now.
Now let's see if these lugs do their job. These things are incredible. Let's see if this can hold here. Red lug, baby lug, just outside this, but it could just come right back. Extreme standard deviation. I have multiple trades here. I don't have the slug. The slug needs to be as the cumulative volume going down, but I do have, data, not slug. I do have slug. So this is a stop. Slug is a stop run at a major lug. That strategy is in play. This strategy is in play. Izzy, we just talked about that right here. These are aggressive entries too. Here we are. We're right at the bottom. I mean, this is fun. This is concerned. Guys, these are zones. These are not. So yeah, you can look at these prices, but in this general area is the zone. It's not an exact 12,476.09. You know what I'm saying? So this is an Izzy. This is a slug. It was almost a dada. Dumb and Dumber aggressive opposite delta. Right? So Dumb and Dumber is a stop run, which is usually the dumb money puke, but this volume is not going the other way. That trade requires extreme standard deviation. Doesn't require a lug, but extreme standard deviation, stop run, failure of a stop run with the volume going the other way. That's not in play, but the other two are. So we'll draw these zones and potentially trade them. Did you see? I'm not just jumping in here, right? Yes, I know lugs are incredibly powerful, but I pay attention to the real-time volume setups. And if this turns into a bullish setup, I'm not taking the shorts. I can't believe how often they pull this off. It's just bad. I mean, I should believe it because I've been watching it for 20 plus years, but every time they do it, it's just like, yeah, everything's okay. Everything's okay with the world. There's no bank failures or clipping Russian jets in World War III. I mean, it's just amazing.
NQ June stop by NQ 184
Another
contracts.
puke.
According to the Wall Street Journal, JP Morgan,
So you guys see
Morgan
why I call
Stanley,
this
and
waterboarding?
others
I don't even have a
in
position on it, and I
talks to
feel like it'd be
bolster
quick.
First Republic.
This has
So
gotta
big
be
banks
yours.
and others discuss capital infusion into First Republic.
Bondi
according to sources
Iceberg
cited by
sells
the Wall
EB
Street Journal.
So they're
501
talking about a bank
contracts.
failure, and then they say capital infusion and the market rallies. So it's another bank, First Republic or something. This is what I mean. It doesn't matter how nonsensical it is. The markets are saying, we don't care. Don't stand in front of this, right? Oh, by the way, shocker. Shocker, liquidity. All right. It pains me, right? But it's like you gotta just take what the market is giving you. There we go. This one was guys, this is exactly what I was expecting to see as far as the puking, right? We just talked about this. These are the guys that have been sitting short in these areas for multiple days, right? And now they're like, well, I guess this isn't going down. I guess we have to puke them up. That's what this is. But this is still an Izzy. Smack dab in the middle of the zone. I'll still take the slug, as long as we don't draw new lugs here. I gotta keep refreshing this on Sierra to make sure there's not new lugs. My room usually will state it as well. We're very good at that, saying when there's new lugs. So you're not playing a lug that's stale. All right, let's trade this. Enough is enough.
The First Republic halted after pairing losses to 26% to get
You see this
FRC
helps
following
keep
Wall
you
Street Journal
alerted too. You're
reports
like,
that
hey,
big
this
banks
out
and
there,
others
they're not
discuss
done
a
buying it.
capital infusion into First Republic.
Russell
Best trades
June
are in
Ice
important
Iceberg by
areas.
RT 160 contracts.
There's something to Russell too. And then this is silent, right? These are the stocks, the highest weighted stocks that drive the indices that drive the futures. So you might want to pay attention to this stuff. All right, enough chirping. Let's put this zone in here. I literally feel like someone's kicking me in the stomach and I don't even have a position on. That's how much I hate when this thing rallies. 12,498.25. Crude is, by the way, that just quickly the short I was going to take here. So do you guys see? This is why I demand certain strategies. ATR retest failure. Did this fail? No. Did I get short? No. Did I lose? No. Stayed out of the way based on my rules. All right, so now I just wait. I'm good. I want it to rally so I can short it higher. Whack-a-mo it. All right, thank you. See how this is all starting to get silent a little bit? Let's see.
Wall Street Journal releasing the piece from this now. So JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley, as well as several other banks, are discussing a
This is all
potential
tape
deal with
bombed.
First
See what he
Republic
said.
Bank
There you
that
go.
could include a sizable capital infusion
see
to
this
shore
now,
up
too.
on the beleaguered lender, according
This
to
is
people
why this
familiar
is
with the
relevant.
matter. So
Guys,
First
this
Republic
is
is
why you
working
put
on
your
various
stops in,
potential
and
options,
you just
including a
hope you don't get
capital
tape
raise
bombed,
that could
because these
take
are
various
markets.
forms. The
Anything
people
can
said
happen.
a full
I gotta pull
takeover
my
is
trading
also a
in the zone
possibility,
document here.
though some of the people cautioned that looks unlikely at this
NQ
point.
June
So
stocks
we've got the
stopped
full
by
Wall Street
NQ
Journal piece on the feed for those
154
interested. Just
contracts.
noting since this hit the wires, just seeing the S&P 500
this
extending
is
its
what is
gains
just
up around
so
spot
ridiculous.
4% on
So
the session
another
now.
bank is in trouble. Oh, they're gonna give them a capital injection. Well, wait, how is that like? Yeah, that's positive for that, but that's just another bank that's going on. I just don't get it, man. But do you see? It doesn't matter if it's sensical or not. The markets are doing
Gold
what
Ice
they're doing.
Iceberg Sell GC 156 contracts.
It's just insanity. It really is. But another thing you note here too, is this real buying? Do you see like buy icebergs coming in? And no, this is all puking. So that doesn't mean you jump in front of this right now, but you keep that in the back of your mind. So when you think this thing starts to turn over, you're like, hey, all that buying on that move was a bunch of nonsense. It was stop runs off of a ridiculous headline that didn't make sense, right? And you remember that. Doesn't mean you short right here. It means you remember this entire move was pukes, not real buying. Yeah, you could stop into positions, but most of the time it's just guys getting out. You let all this settle down, then you wait, and then you wait, and then you whack-a-mole it. So let them do their bungee jump, and then we will be waiting in the wings. All right, let's get this set up. It's just a perfect example, though, of not imposing your will, trying to impose your will on the market. It doesn't work.
NQ June stocks stopped by NQ 198 contracts.
All right, got another one. Yikes. Pukarooski. That's what this is. I'm just going to get this one out of here. This one's bigger anyway. Everything's okay. Everything's okay with the world. No worries. This is what makes trading hard, right? It's against human nature. It just
Russell June Ice Iceberg by RT 154 contracts.
Russell got some bias. We'll go over there. Let's get this in. I don't even know why I'm buying this. Is probably gonna be another bother drying. This is probably gonna be another stop on here. Okay, do you guys know why I call this waterboarding now? Can you imagine if you have a position on and you're watching this, which I do all the time? It's not very comfortable. Go ahead, you guys do what you need to do. All right, new lugs in NQ in my room just posted. That's good to know. So the slug's off the table. Not that I was even going to attempt to take it because
ES June stocks stopped by ES 810 contracts.
And here we go with
NQ June Ice Iceberg Sell NQ 151 contracts.
now the
Gold Ice Iceberg Sell
So noting the
GC
KBW
152
bank index are raising earlier
contracts.
decline of as much as 3.6%. So also European bank indexes, they're pairing losses as
Love,
well.
so this
So
is
now
the
up
slug.
1.2% according to the
Not
European
bad.
bank index.
If this holds right now, it doesn't look like it's going to hold. Do you see me jumping in any shorts
Russell
here?
June Ice
No.
Iceberg by RT 151
I need to
contracts.
see these. I need to see the volume events fail before I even consider shorts, right? So let them keep buying it. Keep buying
NQ
it.
June Ice Iceberg Sell NQ 167
Now
contracts.
paper's starting to sell in an NQ. We'll go back there and draw that.
So looking into this piece
this
further than this
price
Wall
and tell
Street
you guys
Journal
love
piece
to trade
regarding
ES for
big
some
bank
reason.
liquidity
I trade it too,
injection
but
into
you should not
First
be- you should not be
Republic.
pigeonholed in
So the
this
situation is fluid, and whether the deal comes together
This
and
is all
what
tape
it might
bombs,
look
guys.
like
This
is
is
still
what
highly
you- this is
uncertain.
what happens
So any
in
deal
markets.
would need the
That's
blessing
why
of
you have to have
regulators and
stops
will be
in.
driven at least
Take your
in
loss,
part by the
move on to
bank's
the
highly
next trade. If you
volatile
have an
stock.
edge, you
So
will
First
come out a
Republic
winner.
stock has been pummeled
Talk about
for
it every week.
days and
But
fell
this is what-
another
this is what
31% this
causes,
morning
like, the
over
losses,
concerns about
things
the
like
bank's
this,
health in the
right?
wake of the
You don't-
collapse of Silicon Valley Bank.
There's
So
nothing you
should there
can
be a
do.
deal,
They
it could
out
come
and
together in the coming
say that
days,
they're
according
putting
to people
injection to the
familiar with the
banks.
matter.
There's-
Again,
you just
cited
gotta
by the
take it
Wall
on
Street
chin
Journal.
and stop out and move on. Let me find my trading in the zone document. See, this is another issue, like doing these on my own now. I can't like take a break and breathe. I've been complaining about this rally this whole time. 39.52 quarter. Now it's getting silent. 39.52. take a look at Hero too. Got a couple Hero experts in my room, or so-called experts. They've done the crash courses with them and stuff, so it's always good to see that. Let's see what this looks like.
Crude ice iceberg sell CL 155 contracts.
Just want to take a look here to see if that's what's driving this move. I mean, I know it's news, but let's see if it's a 0 date to expiration. Then we'll read this thing too. I didn't get a chance to read it today. So guys, there's discounts for this on my website too. This one isn't a discount per se. You can get they normally have a week trial. You can get 2 weeks, an extra week with the code on my website. Just go to the banner on my website. All right, so this is price. So this is interesting. So this is the overall. Let's put on the 0 date to expiration. That's this one, next expiration. So both of the, whoa, look at that. Interesting, right? This isn't part of my trade plan right now. It will be eventually once I understand this a little better. I mean, this is basic sense. Here's the market. Here's the options complex going the other way. Interesting. And we do get commentary on that all the time by a select few in my room that know what they're looking at. All right, so let's possibly short this puppy.
The Treasury yield's climbing as
ATR
well as
here
bank
is,
shares rebound on
9.01.
reports of aid from big banks.
So to make this a bearish setup, so first of all, this is a potential. This is a slug. I can get in aggressively on a break of this zone, and then the BARF's always in play, right? BARF's always in play. That's any volume event, ATR retest. DADA's not in play because the volume is still going up. Izzy, do we have an Izzy? Tell me we have an Izzy, please, so I can short that too. Boom, Izzy. Important zone. What happened here? That would be a 100-point gap down, right? Gaps are directional conviction. Here we are. Exactly where this thing died the other day. So now I can put on 2 trades aggressively and 1 trade conservatively. So what's the aggressive price? 39.75. I can put on 5. I'll round up because I hate these markets. 39.75. Let's get those in. Good thing I'm not biased. Izzy is 39. Oh wait, no, the Izzy's live. That's the one that just went live. I literally got it set up yesterday on the Apex. We'll go over that, like I said. This is in March 2. What the hell is going on here? Why are my... This is ridiculous. At least I caught this one. Hold on, guys. I've been trading this thing for a week and a half in June, and now it's out there, I'll say March.
The US to sell $57 billion of 3-month bills on March the 20th to settle on March the 23rd, and the US to sell $34 billion of
prices. All right. So first, let's go.
the US to sell $34 billion of 52-week bills on March the 21st, apologies, to settle on March the 23rd,
And I will short it at.
and the US to sell $15 billion of reopened 10-year tips on March the 23rd to settle on March the 31st, and the US to sell $48 billion of 6-month bills on March the 20th to settle on March the 23rd.
Slug still, as long as we don't draw new lugs. Let's take a look. No new lugs, so that's alive. Slug is number 44. $39.75. I'm doing the same thing. This is the most profitable trade so far as my account amounts. $39.75. All right, so those are both working. So those are aggressive, right? So I'm taking them as soon as it breaks out of the zone and ATR plus 15%. Now then I could possibly put on the bar if it does this, this, and this. And I'll have 3 different shorts on. What could go wrong? I'm fine with, again, I'm not imposing my will on the market. These are my setups. This is my edge. I take the trades, right? All right, let's see what happened in here. See a good sell ice here. This was not threshold. So let's draw this. Let's get some of these stop runs out of here because we got new information in the same area. So I'll draw the most recent zone. And then I'll try to get to some of your questions, guys. I was just waiting for this melt up to... Quiet.
and the US to sell
That's what I'm
$12
talking
billion
about, using
of
this
reopened
to your advantage,
20-year
as
bonds
well.
on
Alright, so
March
this
the
is sell ice.
21st to settle on March the 31st.
Because you see, like when you have strategies and you have a game plan, the markets could be going ape shit, as my grandpa used to say. Pardon my language, ladies. And you're not panicking. You're just waiting. You're not like trying to jump in, and you're not like, oh, what should I do here? Should I try? I don't know. I don't want to miss this move. You're just sitting here again like a sniper, waiting to blow someone's head off. That's all you're doing. It doesn't mean I don't complain when this thing's going crazy, but you didn't see me firing in orders just because, right? That's what profitable traders do and don't do. 12.35 quarter, 5.35 quarter. So that's a new Windows thing. I love that. That's great. And I don't know how to take it off either. It's driving me nuts. Oh, and my computer restarted in the middle of the night. I had all my March Madness stuff. Like I wasn't done with my brackets. I knew it was going to happen too. I don't know what I'm doing. I was going to save it, and I'm like, no. Completely restarted. My computer restarted, and I had it set for no restart. So I lost all my information, all my charts. I had to reset everything this morning. It's just, that's my life, guys. That's my life. 12.535 quarter. So a lot of bitching, but at least you guys are getting some comedy out of it. 12.514 is the bottom. I don't think there's any aggressive trades here. Might be still in the Izzy. We'll see here. 12.514. Your ATR in here is 32.05. So it means it's rotating about 32 points every 5 minutes. So let's see if I can short this too. So if I get multiple, and something happened to Russell too, if we get all three on, we can play Highway to Hell or Free Falling. It'll be comical. I posted on Twitter the other day. We were long. It was last Wednesday, I think, and we played the Jefferson song. Comical. What am I doing here? What am I looking for? NQ. Because I already lost my chart. Hold on. You gotta laugh, guys. You gotta laugh, or you will lose your mind. Trust me. There it is. There's the chart. All right, so I mean, this is a little through this zone.
US
Well, I
Treasury
consider it
Secretary
is,
Yellen says we
because
need
these
to
are
write
zones, these are
numerous
general
rules and
areas.
regulations to implement
This
tax
was
credits in the Inflation
tail,
Reduction
it could
Act.
actually brought that tail up to here, so this zone could go to there. All right, so we're still in that zone, and then this was where this. I should have brought this down a little more. This is where this gap down that led to this whole move. This is an important zone. I'll still play the Izzy here. You know, if it gets up here, no, but this is just outside of it. I'll take that too. So we definitely have the Izzy in play as the aggressive trade. We don't have a slug because we build new lugs. And not in, see how, hey, well, the magical lug's working there. Shocking. Not in here though. There's no slug. But I can play the Izzy. That entry is aggressive. So I will go short at 477 quarter. I can put on 3. So I'm trading off of this sell ice failure into an important zone if that happens. So let's get that set up. Oh, Izzy is the live account too, which is good. Maybe. See if I can not blow it out. I have a multiple positions on today. 77 quarter. All right, that's locked and loaded as well. So the Izzy is an aggressive trade, and then the BARF's always in play. Any volume event that you see, ATR retest failure. Other than that, I'll go in aggressively. If it breaks out of here, right? These are my rules. Do you see me just jumping in right here? No. Could you? Yeah. Do you have an advantage? Yeah. You have the big money. Are they always right? Absolutely not. But the big money is trying to stop this thing right here. And you know all this move up was all just stop run pukes. So it wasn't real buying. Most likely, most of it. And then you have the big money coming in and selling. Hidden sell orders. That's what icebergs are. So, yeah, you could short smack dab in the middle of this. I don't, because I've learned my lesson and I wait for certain things to happen per my rules. Right? And that's what I teach you guys all the time. So you can take what I do and you can tweak it however you want. But I have the benefit of watching about 4 years of these. Like I said, 4.2 million of them, feels like. So you may want to take my lead on some of this stuff, and then you can build your own strategies out. All right, let's see. All right, I don't know if I'm going to get So if you put questions in earlier, just throw them back in here in the YouTube. What news feed is that? That's Financial Juice. It's the best one that I've seen. Do I use it? Squawk box with the British guys make it difficult to file. Sorry, but it's pretty important. I try to turn it down. Pepto-Bismol in a bucket next to the desk. Can't hear Scott over the indicators. Sorry. I mean, that's because this is... I can't turn the stuff off. I don't know what's going on, right? I don't know if there's alerts. I mean, granted, you can... That's what I was showing you anyway. I forgot to bring this up. So go to File, Alerts. So this is when you're hearing stuff, but you don't hear it, right? And then you go back, you're like, oh, wait, I missed a crude. Like, I did miss this, obviously. This just fired off. Here's the June sell iceberg. Missed the Russell. We got to draw that one. So
NQ June stop by NQ. 169 contracts.
I'm still not short anything, right? I got orders working. Didn't get short. There's some more setups.
ES June stop by ES. 500 for contracts.
So those are all canceled. All those shorts are canceled. I guess you see why I got real close to filling this too. That's a good. This is why I put my stops outside of an ATR, because you have these algos that snap it back at an ATR. I force it to get outside. Where was I? 39.75. Never got short. Here's a new setup. Potentially go short that one. Yeah, I'm not participating in the upside here, because none of these setups for me, like what I'm trading in those specific setups I'm showing you, none of these were aggressive entries, and that's fine. So I missed these trades. That's fine. I don't want to be long this piece of crap anyway. But it's not that these didn't follow my rules for getting long. Any of these stop runs in NASDAQ on the way up, you would have to been in aggressively on all of these, right? Remember, I deleted some too. But none of these retested the zone, or I would have been long, as much as it pains me. I would have been long, but it didn't retest. It didn't retest. Oh, this one I guess did. No, I don't. It might have. I may have missed this one, which sucks. But other than that, I'm fine. I just sit back. If you miss some runs, there's another trade right around the corner. All right, so this is another stop run here, 170. So this is another thing, guys, too. If you keep seeing setups, 170, 180, 170, 160, you don't want to be, so 150 is a threshold for this market that I usually trade out of. You want to up your thresholds for the day. Don't, this is just like, adapting to the volatility. If the ATR is 50, you don't want to be risking 10 points on your trades. You gotta expand your stops on those days. You can see here, 150 probably isn't adequate today. Right? So this one was 200. This one was 288, so almost 300. This one was 154. This one was 197. So I'm going to only use 200 right now, 200 stops or 200 ice. I'm not going to go less than that, just because you should only see tradable at the most, five setups in a day usually, right? That are threshold that are worth trading. Well, we got 5 in the last 15 minutes. So up your thresholds today, right? So I'm looking for 200 or more to even draw the zone. This looks like it was close. No. So I'm not. I'll draw this one, but just be careful when it's, guys. This is just like trading the relative volume, right? We talk about relative volume all the time too. I'll show you right here. When relative volume is going off the charts, what am I doing? You need to be careful. That means the big money's coming in. Right, so as you can see, these market moves were high relative volume. This last rally. Here's that. Here's that. So this is the thing. Look at Russell. How's about 7 times normal, right? This is big money. I mean, yeah, well, Russell wasn't really puking, so this is the big money in here. There's some pukes, but the point is, you want to pay attention to when this is firing off, right? So this actually, you do really want to pay attention to where this started. And this is a zone in itself, right? Because, yeah, they're buying the crap out of it. Their stop runs and whatever, but they're still buying it. If this fails, somebody's selling it too. That's why the volume is spiking. So, yeah, somebody's buying it aggressively, meaning they're taking offers, but somebody's in there passively accepting the offers. So this is a zone. This is just like the zones we draw with the SI indicator. It's the same thing. They're much bigger, right? This is like a 30-point zone, but whenever this breaks down back below here, then all these buyers are screwed, right? Kind of like these sellers were screwed. See that? This was the, I think it was the ECB rate announcement or whatever. They did get aggressive selling. Somebody absorbed them, and then what did it do? Gone. And then this is probably, a lot of this is probably these guys puking, right? Very simplistic, but I'm telling you that's what's going on, right? All my setups are based on my personal experience as a large scalper at one time, and how I used to react, how others used to react. You can see who you were trading with back then. So this is not hypothetical stuff, and make it simple. It's very simple. Somebody got aggressive here, or multiple people, whatever. This is 5 times normal volume, 4 or 5 times normal volume. Well, guess what? When it moves out of here, and here you go. Did you ever see this move? ATR retest? It's the same stuff, guys, girls. Oh, I'm in my guys mode like I was last week. Anyway, pay attention to this stuff. This is the Sierra chart relative volume. This is showing you the exact time period for the last 30 days. It's not showing you a back like 60 bars like Thinkorswim does. They don't have this type of relative volume, which I don't understand. So that's why I use this one. This is way more important, and it helps me understand what's going on more versus the last 60 bars. All right, let's draw these and let's try to answer some questions. So this now I think is through the IZZY, so I'm probably not going to take this as an IZZY. First and foremost, I didn't delete my shorts. Let's see, did this get an ATR above here? There was a new volume event, but I will possibly take the first one. Let's see here. What was the ATR invalidation price for a short? 61 quarter. That did not get to 61 quarter. But this is the newest zone. Let's see here. Let's just draw this too. 560 stops. They're still buying this thing. They're still buying these stocks. Guys, yeah, I'm not taking trades. I haven't taken a trade yet, but I'm not getting run over either. That's just like putting on winning trades, because if you lose, you got to make back that and then another winner to be profitable. See what I'm saying? So not trading sometimes is good trading, right? So if you're on here to see live trades, you know, it is what it is. I'm not getting run over though, and I'm showing you how not to get run over by requiring that these setups do certain things.
Russell June Iceberg sell RT 151 contracts.
I'm gonna go over to Russell too, because I want to be short everything so I can watch everything, another tape bomb hit, and lose on them all. All right. So let's just see if we drew new lugs here, because that actually trade might be off the
Fed
table
bids for
now,
4-week
too.
bills
Pretty
total
sure we did, but we'll
$1.3
see.
billion.
Get the waterboarding off. Already have new lugs in there. All right, new lugs here. So new lugs, and we're through the IZZY too. So those are disqualified anyway. No, IZZY's still alive here. But I'm going to draw the IZZY to this new zone. So I'm going to get aggressive off of this new zone. So let me cancel these shorts I had working. I had shorts working in NASDAQ and just do a universal cancel here so I'm not going back and forth. That. Let's get that off of there. All right. Let's start over. So we're still in IZZY. There's no slug because we built new lugs. So this is the IZZY. So let's put this zone in. This is the most recent volume event. 39.57 quarter, 3/4 down to 54 quarter. So you come to the spreadsheet. Right? Yeah. Most important thing. The zone's the most important thing, but you want to be adjusting the volatility. It's still 9.09. All right, so this is still an IZZY. I can get short.
NQ June stop by NQ 385 contracts.
I mean, talk about a puke fest. Holy moly. So anyway,
Gold Iceberg by GC 151 contracts.
as long as this doesn't invalidate this zone at 66 quarter. Right? So if this comes back, I'm going to short this aggressively on the Izzy trade, inflection zone trade, that inflection zone I just showed you. 43
ES
quarter.
Juni Ice Iceberg Sell ES 701
Now you got
contracts.
sell ice coming in the same zone. So I'm going to keep that. We'll see how far it goes up, but I'm going to keep that original zone. I'm shorting. I'll even round up here because I'm sick of seeing this thing go off. It's about time for it to pull back. 43.75. I'll put on 5 shorts. And that is the live account that just went live today, actually. Goodness gracious. So this is interesting too now. It's another way you can use tick strike. These things are going nuts still, and this market's kind of just rotating. That's good information, right? See how these are still going almost max? Remember 15's max? And this is just kind of doing this, right? And we know this wasn't real buying, it was a puke, and now the big money is coming in and selling. So do you think that's important information? Is that information you can get staring at a bar chart? Do you think you have an edge on other traders if you understand that stuff? I do. I know you do. So, as I know it always sounds like a plug for Bookmap, but I told you I wouldn't even be trading if it wasn't for Bookmap. I would be in a doctor's office right now, sitting in a waiting room, getting coughed on, waiting to go kiss a doctor's ass. So that's why I talk so highly of Bookmap, because it's the reason I'm trading still. Or I would not be trading because I was, I'm okay at market structure and thesis and stuff, but I'm not world class, right? Like I'm not an elite trader. That's why I had to get out of the business, because when the algos took over and the scalping didn't work anymore, I had to go find something else to do to support my family. When Bookmap came back around, that's like, I'm back, right? So that's why I give them such high praise, because it's the strongest edge I've ever seen in my entire career. At least I know I say it every single webinar, but I'll keep saying it until the day I die. All right, actually, this came down a little bit, the sell ice. I'm going to still short off of this original zone, but we want to pay attention to the sell ice too. So, because I might be able to put a trade off of that too. So that was, so again, you want to take off your bubbles, bring up your little crosshair, dude. This was 415, and then right after that was another 800. So you got almost 1,200 sell ice between these two, right? And this looks like it's one house. You see this black line on there? That means it was one entity. So that zone was this. Let's just color it. I want to get over to Russell too, so I could be short everything.
ES Juni Ice Iceberg Sell ES 740 for contracts.
Coming in, same house. Now you got over 2,000 sell ice. They said that's about enough of this rally. Let's go ahead and try to stop it.
NQ June stop by NQ
Stop runs in,
151 contracts.
stop runs in NQ, if you guys believe it. There's been about 8 of them today, literally. All right, this has got to be moved up too, because this came all the way up to here. You see how the spike is here? Incorporate all the prices, and the spike came all the way up to here. So I'm going to make this my new zone now.
Crude stop sell CL 229 contracts.
All right, I just missed something in crude too. There was something I never drew that zone, and I guarantee that was a trade, because that's how my life works. While I'm sitting here drawing zones, I'm missing other trades. This is the one bad thing about webinars. I got to stay on one screen, and I can't like scan these other markets. All right, this is done. Let's make this the new zone. This is still in the same area, but this is the more accurate zone, and you got, again, you got almost 2,000 sell ice in here. This spike alone was 1,400. So all these buyers got gung-ho where they run into them all to sell ice. Hidden orders in the order book. Does it mean they're right? Not yet, but I like their chances, especially after this rally, which is basically all stop runs. 39, 59, 75 is the top of the zone.
It's 1 to 10 minutes away now till we get the 4-week bill auctions. The US selling $60 billion of 4-week bills. For prior bids cover of 2 to 75 and a prior high yield of 4.64%.
ATR is 8.88. So now I can short this aggressively. This is still Izzy. Inflection zone still in here. I'll short it aggressively if it moves out of the zone. If it doesn't, then I stand aside and I wait for my next setup. So that new short price is 43.25, isn't that where it was before? Yes. Alright, so now we wait on that. I did want to take a look at Russell here. So I was short here earlier. I basically scratched it. It cost me a few points because I'm on the wrong month. I don't know how that happened, but it did. Error. This is actually huge buy ice here. This is really big buy ice for Russell. 531. Then you had another 420. Another 225. Right? So this is like over 1,200 buy ice in this area. Let me draw that zone. I'm just going to incorporate all these prices. It's going to be a big zone, but I'm not going to impose my will on the market. I don't like large zones because I have to risk more, but it is what it is. I started there, and I want to incorporate all of this ice. You could draw to the most recent setup because this was threshold
The
here.
Swiss People's Party is against the state guarantee for Credit Suisse.
In this instance, and you can see it's one house. See this yellow line? It's one house. That's good to know. One entity is buying the crap out of this. And it's going to be fun to watch them puke when they're wrong. Let's change that to blue.
And the US 2-year yield extends climb, rising 24 basis points on the day.
So that's your newest buy ice zone. I try to do different colors so I don't confuse them, but this one's far enough away that it should be okay. All right, so 1776.4, the top of the zone. Bottom of the zone is 1759. ATR is a small 70 ticks. I'm being sarcastic. That's large. Alright, so that's that. Let's see if we got any stuff in here as far as Izzy's or lugs or... So we just broke out of this. Broke through that one. This looks like it balanced.
5 minutes away now till we get the 4-week bill auctions. The US selling $60 billion of 4-week bills with private cover of 2 to 75 and the prior high yield of 4.64%.
Next Izzy's up here, right around these prices, 1797 and 1790. Let's see what it looked like. Yeah, everything's okay with the world, guys. Don't worry about it. Everything's good. No inflation. Banks aren't going under. Not on the brink of World War III. Everything's fine. Just buy it up. Buy it up. It's just nuts. All right, let's see here. And we got a red lug. So this is the. It's not a slug. Actually, I don't have the setup currently. You could trade any volume setup at the lug, but we're just trading these specific ones right now. I don't have the ice at the lug right now. But it's just worth noting, right? If the stop run fires off, then yeah, that's the slug. But so basically all I got in play here for a trade is the normal barf trade, and that's any volume event where I would wait for ATR retest failure.
ES June stopped by ES 1719 contracts.
Right now, another 2,000 stops in. But you see,
The US stocks extend gains, S&P 500 up 1%.
Not long, because they haven't presented themselves for how I trade them. But I'm not fading this market. I'm not just stepping in front of it. I'm making it prove it can actually fail one of these volume events. Not one volume event has failed in any of these markets. Do you see how I'm staying out of the way? That is a big deal. That is just like putting on winning trades, not losing. Yes, I'm not catching this long because I need to see ATR retest failures of these, and none of these have done that. And you're going to have days like that. That's not usually like this. You're usually getting retested the zones nonstop. But what's going on here, and we have a reversion trade to these zones that's very successful, but today is not the day that you want to be taking reversion trades because of this high relative volume. These reversion trades are based on the algos snapping the market back to the volume events. When you're getting volume like this, you do not want to be standing and taking reversion fade trades. See that? No. No. When this gets down to like this, that's when the reversion trade works that we do in my room. That's like more of a scalp trade. That's this trade. And you got all the prices for that. Right? I know it looks confusing, but it's not confusing. It's very, very simplistic, and that's the way I like it. All right, here's another zone. 39.69 down to 62.50. One of these zones I'll be able to short. Might not be on the webinar. And you got March Madness starting too, so that's, talk about March Madness. This would be this market move, by the way. 39.62.50. And I'm calling, by the way, that neither Houston nor Alabama make it to the Final Four. So you heard it here first. 39.69. ATR 9.21 now. All right, let's do this again. Let's see where we're at. So this is pretty much to the zone now. Like, I wouldn't consider this a Izzy, right? This was drawn for this gap down, right here. We're through it. No more Izzy. Makes me sad, but it is what it is. Can always still short barf. And then let's see where we're at here. I'll try to answer some questions here quickly before I hop off. You know, there has not been any trades for me, just from my
Shortly
system.
expecting the 4-week built auction. I'll lead with the bid to cover.
Retest failure to go long. None of these were set up for me to go long aggressively, is what I'm saying. So, and I'm fine with it. There's always a trade right around the corner. So this market's just hovering in here. It's probably going to be a while before that moves out because that's a large zone. Quickly, let's just see what I missed in crude so I can complain. There was some nice sell ice over here, 300. Yep, yeah, there you go. I told you. Did I not tell you that I missed a volume event or I missed a trade? Let's see. I hope I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. So this was sell ice. Came all the way up to here. Let's just see what this did.
NQ June stop by NQ 191
Okay, there's
contracts.
some NQ buy stops. Because this is the epitome of a balance area puke. I'll come back to this in a second. Let's just look at this ridiculousness. I lost my chart, like always. Oh, boy. It's just so hard doing these on one screen. I lose my charts. I lose my mind. All right, what happened to it? Seriously. Goodness gracious. Wow. So, you know, we'll be off this webinar most likely unless it just spikes up right now. But watch this up. This is what I'm talking. These are the best Izzies. This is the exact Izzy, the opposite way I showed you in crude that worked yesterday. Straight moves. And you know, all this buying was all puking, all stop runs. When we get here, you get a volume event. And I'm pretty sure that's right on the next red lug. I am going to short that with both hands, as long as it breaks below it. But I'm pretty sure it will. Let's just see where our lugs are quickly. $12,663 quarter. Hey, look at that. Oh, what do you know? It's right in the middle of that zone. So sit here like a sniper with your aim pointed at the heads of your competitors. When it gets in here, you get a bearish volume event. You got lug. You got Izzy. That was that led to that. Going to be an incredible short, a straight move into an inflection zone. My mouth is watering. All right, quickly, one quick complain bitch before I get off the, pardon my language, ladies. Let's see, did this get an ATR above here? No, ATR is 41, so this never got an ATR above this zone. And then you did that. It didn't retest, so I'm okay with that. Something new came in too, so I'll draw this zone when I get off here, but this is still developing. You see the stop run. Let's just take one quick look where we're at. I told you I didn't have any opinion here now on crude, and I totally expect this thing to do what it always does, right? It does the bungee jump. It'll come back to this, very likely, then get smushed. Doesn't have to, but I'm watching these Izzies too for a potential fade. So watch these zones as it comes back. Let me expand this. So this zone where it melted through yesterday, came back, retested, held, selling tail. 68.94 to 69.21. That's going to be a good short area. If it gets back up to here, another good short area. It's where it gapped through. Then really good short areas up here. That's back into this monster balance where people are praying that it comes back to so they can get the hell out of their longs. All right, I got to hop off here. Let's see if there's any. I can't. My ears are ringing. I'm out. See you later, Colin. Don't know what to tell you, dude. That's part of the trading. I gotta listen to what's going on. Your loss. Maybe a good trader, but the sounds make my head go crazy. I can't listen. Again, guys, I don't know what to tell you, man. I'm trading live. It is what it is. I turned it down. I got to hear what's going on to put trades on. So if you can't understand that, then like I said, it's your loss. There's other trading rooms you can go listen to. What does it say? Whether or not you scan other markets? As Bruce saying you can't draw your attention to different markets. I can watch other markets. I can hear everything's going on.
According to the Wall Street Journal, nation's biggest banks coordinate on the rescue of First Republic. That's according to sources there. So this Wall Street Journal saying nation's biggest banks to coordinate on the rescue of First Republic.
Thank you, Mr. Longfield. Finally, someone that's actually grateful for what you're seeing. So I'm showing you guys the Holy Grail. I mean, I can't believe for all the stuff that some of you guys learn on here, you can complain about sounds. Like, it is what it is, man. Like, I'm trying to trade live. I got to know what's going on, especially if I'm on one screen. So, like I said, I'm not going to get upset. I got March Madness to get upset about. I think Scott has one brain per market. Incorrect. I actually have a large bandwidth. That's why I'm able to trade multiple markets. All right, so comments were not very positive there. So, again, don't know what to tell you guys. You would think that you would find some use to what I'm showing you, but you'd rather complain about sounds than adios. All right, guys, that's it for me. Sorry I'm being grumpy pants, but like it's just ridiculous. The wealth of knowledge that I'm showing you with this stuff, and guys complain about sound. So anyway, if you do find use of this, I do this twice a day in my trade room. Today is just an outside day, ridiculous move up. I will be waiting for that zone in NASDAQ I showed you. And I'll be waiting for, this. I wouldn't really consider this Izzy, but if this, this current setup in ES, we already have our zone in. If it does this right now, ATR retest failure, I will short it. And that price again is, keep an eye on the ATR though until you get filled. That's down 8.54. So I need to see this touch 54. Would be make that a bearish setup. Not aggressive because I don't have any aggressive trades here, but I need to see 54, a retest, a failure, then I'll go short. Other than that, I will wait for moves higher, and you're coming up to an important spot gamma level here too. The vol trigger at 3,900, 3,900. Or 39.50.
So the Wall Street Journal says JP Morgan's working with Citi, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo.
All right, guys, no trades, but you got kind of a glimpse into how I analyze these, what I wait for, and not just stepping in front of stuff because I think it's gone too far, right? So that should be very valuable for those of you that actually want to take advantage of it. All right, I will have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
So the Wall Street Journal says the First Republic rescue could be unveiled as soon as Thursday. So still no sign of the 4-week bill auction. As soon as it hits the wires, we'll get it out to you. So Fitch Ratings says the US bank failures highlights